Good morning. My name is Cheryl Davidoff. On behalf of the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County, I'd like to welcome you to the celebration of our 25-year relationship with our Partnership2Gether region of TZAHAR. I'm chairing today's event because I'm so proud of the connection that has flourished between the Palm Beaches and the region, which include Tzfat, Hatzor, HaGlilit, and Rosh Pina. 25 years ago, my husband Tommy and I were part of a group that included lay leaders and Jeff Klein, then CEO of our federation. Together we created a vision. We wanted to feel connected to Israel, to create a comfort that did not feel like thousands of miles away. We wanted the people in Israel to feel the same about us. A partnership was born. Over the years, the Partnership2Gether program has given two communities a platform to regularly exchange culture, tradition, language, education, and bonding opportunities. So many good things begin with our teachers, and so it has been with our school twinning program. Teachers and students at Maya Prep, which is our community's Jewish day school, and our synagogue schools have participated in virtual exchanges for years, long before COVID-19. They've learned about cultural differences and similarities between our communities. It's incredible to see how children who've never been in the same room together can create enduring friendships. Then, as teens, many of those students have the opportunity to actually meet and strengthen ties during organized trips to Israel and the Palm Beaches. As these teens become adults, we want to encourage them to continue those relationships, taking active roles in nurturing the connection between our communities. So, 11 years ago, our federation launched the Emerging Leadership Program, or better known as ELP, to identify, engage, and develop the next generation of leaders. 4 years later, a similar initiative began in Israel. Today, the two groups are developing a new vision for what the future looks like for the Jewish community. P2G has created long-lasting friendships and bonds between members of both communities. I can remember long breakfasts in Israel, catching up with the friends we made during the trips to the region. Tommy and I have kept in touch with our host family, who has always opened their home to us, as well as friends we have made over the years. These are the types of relationships that have endured well beyond the parameters of the program. So today we celebrate. The dreams we had for bridging communities have come to fruition. 25 years ago is a long time. Some of our speakers today aren't even 25 years old. I can't tell you how thrilled I am that we have reached this milestone and we're still going strong. It warms my heart to hear people in the Palm Beaches and in Israel to speak so fondly about the program. And although we can't see one another in person right now, technology has been keeping us together during these difficult times. And that's what partnership is all about, being together. It's now my honor to introduce some very special messages directly from Israel.
חברים, שותפים, אחים יקרים, שנה טובה. בהתרגשות גדולה אני שמח לברך את כל אותם אנשים יקרים שפועלו במשך 25 שנים לחיזוק הקשר החם בין יהדות פלם ביץ' לבין היישובים צפת, חצור וראש פינה. במשלחות של בני נוער, בהפעלת תוכניות חינוכיות בקהילה, בפרויקטים משותפים ובעיקר בהפצת אהבת חינם. Thank you, my friends.
Shalom, this is Shimon Suissa, Mayor of Hatzor HaGlilit. Mazal Tov on 25 years of our partnership. We thank you for all your help till now and look forward to many 4 years together. Thank you and welcome.
25 שנה לשותפות פלם ביץ' צחר צפת פלם ביץ'. כראש העיר צפת, אני רוצה לברך על שיתוף הפעולה בינינו, על האחדות בינינו, על החשיבות של הקשר בין צפת, בין צחר לבין פלם ביץ'. אני חושב שלאורך ה-25 שנה ראינו את שיתוף הפעולה בינינו, את ההצלחות בינינו. אני אשמח שגם ל-25 שנה הבאות אנחנו נהיה שתף פעולה ונהיה ביחד ובאמת נקדם נושאים משמעותיים גם אצלכם וגם אצלנו בעיר צפת.
Dear friends in Palm Beach County, thank you for leading this outstanding partnership with Tzfat, Rosh, Pina, and Hatzor, what we call TZAHAR. Actually, when I visited Palm Beach at their celebrations, I was so proud to hear about the unbelievable work you're doing with your partners in TZAHAR. And when I visited the partners in TZAHAR, I did not stop hearing about the love and friendship and partnership and how you changed the world for all these people on both sides of the ocean by creating this beautiful bond of the partnership. 25 years, half a jubilee, and you can be proud of what you've done. You've impacted lives of all people in Israel because you've impacted the lives of new immigrants who came, of old age, Holocaust survivors, and impoverished Olim, in education, in cementing the bond that is so necessary between Israel and the Jewish world, the diaspora, and by strengthening the connection between Palm Beach with its wonderful Jewish communities and the beautiful communities of Tzfat, Hatzor, and Rosh Pina, all have a great history together. So may you go from strength to strength. Thank you for your support. Go on pushing for further projects that will serve the continuity of the Jewish people, the next generations in the respective communities, and the great love for Israel and the Jewish people.
My name is Michael Hoffman, and I'm President and CEO of the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County. And I want to thank you all for joining us on this momentous occasion. I'd also like to extend a special note of gratitude to Isaac Herzog and our mayors in the TZAHAR region for joining us today, and to Cheryl Davidoff for chairing this remarkable event. The Partnership2Gether program plays such an important role in solidifying our connection to the people and the state of Israel. It fosters friendships and the sharing of ideas that has led to new programs being launched on both sides of the ocean that have benefited both communities. It is no longer a question, what can we do to support our brothers and sisters in Israel, but what can we do to strengthen and support each other's communities? Cheryl talked about how our teams visit each other either in person or virtually through FaceTime, where they're able to share their respective cultures and they realize how much in common they have with each other. These visits strengthen our team's connection to their Jewish identity and their connections to Israel and the diaspora at a very formative time in their lives. And these bonds are true for our teens, for our young adults participating in our Joint Emerging Leaders program, to our educators and to our schools, to our volunteers, and to anyone who has the opportunity to spend just a little bit of time in each other's communities. No matter what age, our partnership with TZAHAR brings all of us closer to the people of Israel. It paves the way for personal connections. Israel becomes an extension of us, a living and breathing bridge. The partnership allows us to personalize Israel. It is where we can hang our hat when we go to Israel and call the region our home. And when our friends from TZAHAR come to the Palm Beaches, we open up our tents and embrace them with open arms. Someone asked me recently how I measure the success of the partnership. Success is much more than the dollars allocated or the number of participants in our programs. Success is when we send each other messages to wish us well for our simchas, as well as to console each other during times of sadness and loss. Success is when we send messages of support and solidarity when hurricanes are blowing towards South Florida or when rockets are raining down on the region. Success is how during this COVID-19 pandemic, as we're going through the same trauma at the exact same time, we're supporting each other. And that's what we do for a family. And we are definitely a family. A partnership does not endure for 25 years without the foresight, commitment, and dedication for an extraordinary group of leaders. And while we today are the beneficiaries, I must thank and recognize those leaders who set a visionary path more than 25 years ago. In addition to Cheryl and Tommy Davidoff, I want to recognize Arlene Kaufman and Sandy Backler, Barry Feinberg, Lynn Kasten, Stacy and Mark Levy, Dan Lyons of blessed memory, Benta Lyons, Dean Rosenbach, and of course, Alec Engelstein of blessed memory, and Sheila Engelstein. I'd like to make special mention of Alec and Sheila. In the partnership's inception, it was Sheila and Alec's hard work and dedication and undying commitment to Klal Yisrael as they shepherded a group of leaders throughout Israel to establish a partnership. As Sheila has shared with me, for 4 days, they journeyed all over Israel, searching for the perfect region for our community, and perfect it has become. Alec led leadership delegations several times a year from the beginning to make sure that our federation had established a lasting vision and enduring plan that would create programs that would connect thousands and thousands in our communities in Palm Beach and in TZAHAR. I want to thank Alec, Sheila, and all of the lay and professional leaders who made this partnership the success that it is today. It is because of these founders and visionaries that we've built a strong and living bridge that continues to be a thriving connection to the Jewish homeland. I'm excited that during today's event, you'll hear from both the Palm Beach and Israeli chairs of the Partnership2Gether program, as well as current participants and alumni of the various programs, as they've made this partnership so rich. Susan Shulman Pertnoy will be leading the conversation in the style of Mosaic, Federation's weekly news magazine show, of which she is also the host. In addition to her television role, Susan is also the chair of the Jewish Federation's Israel and Overseas Committee and a frequent visitor to Israel and TZAHAR. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Susan Shulman Pertnoy.
Thank you, Michael. And welcome everyone to this special edition of Mosaic. We're going to jump right into today's program. So let's start by talking about the history and the current state of our partnership. And what better way to do that than with Marilyn Commodore, who chairs the partnership at the Jewish Federation, and Ofer Zafrani, the partnership chair in TZAHAR. Marilyn, Ofer, welcome to Mosaic.
Thank
Marilyn,
you.
Let's start.
Yay.
Hey, let's start with you, Marilyn. Why is there a partnership between the Palm Beaches and Israel, and how did it begin?
All right, there's a partnership because we want to try to bring a personal connection between the people of Israel and the diaspora Jews, and especially the Jews in our community. And it just brings, just as our prior speakers said, it brings a personal bridge between the people in Israel and Palm Beach and forms lasting friendships among the people.
Ofer, what does this partnership look like in Israel?
First of all, the partnership in Israel, it's a great opportunity to meet our brothers overseas, and especially in Palm Beach. For us, it's a great opportunity to know and to enlarge the knowledge about Judaism all over the world, for us and for our children. For me and for my community, I think it's a privilege, and it's given me a lot of strength, I think, for all the community here to know that we are not alone. And I think that together we are a force. Together we can beat every challenge, everything that we all will face today and in the future. So, and I have to say, this is exciting to be here. And I would like to say thank you for all these wonderful people that joined us today for this 25th celebration.
I reiterate that as well. What has the partnership's impact been in TZAHAR?
For TZAHAR, the partnership is opportunity. It's like a window. It's a window for the world. For us, for our children, for our community, it's a great opportunity to know and to to know that Jewish all over the world sometimes live differently. Here in Israel, we take as something that we used to be Jewish in Israel, and to know that there are so many good people, brothers and sisters overseas that care from Israel, that give us so much with the fact that they love and cherish and contribute to Israel and to TZAHAR region. It's warmed us. It's make us to feel more confidence, and it gives us a lot of strength to challenge many things that we are dealing here in the TZAHAR region.
Marilyn, from your
Yes.
perspective, what does the partnership look like here?
Okay, the partnership looks like here in Palm Beach is that the one thing that's very important is that the people in Palm Beach understand that they have a home in Israel, and that the TZAHAR region is their home when they want to travel to Israel, if they would like to volunteer. There are so many opportunities for them to experience Israel. The partnership here in Palm Beach is overseen by the steering committee, and we help decide and implement the programs that take place here and in the region. And we collaborate with the Federation departments and our community partners to help implement the programs. So that's pretty much how it plays out in Palm Beach.
Thank you for that. Both of you are very busy people. You've got careers, you've got all sorts of things going on. Why did you decide to take on your roles as chairs of the partnership? Who wants to go first? Ofer.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, first of all, I have to say, I start my way in the partnership as a principal at Begin School. And as the principal, I have the twinning program. And then I discovered this great word. And when I was offered to be the chair of the steering committee, for me, it's a big privilege to take this impact and make it bigger, not only on my school, for the whole community. For me, to be the chair of the steering committee, to be part of this great thing, it's a matter of something good that I'm doing in my life. I think this is one of the things that I will remember that I did good later on.
Thank you, Marilyn. Sorry to have cut you off. Go ahead.
That's okay. That's okay. I decided that I would take on this role when my husband and I chaired the Israel Your Way mission in 2018. It was my 4th visit to Israel and my 3rd visit to the region. And at that time, I spoke to Melissa Arden, who was on the trip, and she was one of the Federation people on the trip. And I went up to her and I said that I would really like to serve on a committee that has to do with Israel. I felt like it was my time to do that. My family was grown, and I would have the time to put into this and to actually have the time to visit the region as well when needed.
And how have you been personally touched by this partnership, Marilyn?
I've been touched from seeing the impact that we make on the region and in the people here in Palm Beach. One story I can tell you is that we had our newly formed Z Israel group of our high school teenagers visited the region this December prior to Corona. They had been in touch with the students who were in Israel in the Young Ambassadors program. They had been communicating throughout the year. And when they went there, the story is that these chaperones that were on the trip said that within about 10 minutes, they couldn't even tell who the Palm Beach kids were and the Israeli kids were. They were just one. They were together and so happy to see one another. And that's what we want to see. That's the most important thing about this partnership.
Ofer, do you have something that you want to share with us?
I have to say that every meeting, every person I meet makes me prouder, touch me deeply, and clarify the importance of our partnership more and more. It's really a living bridge. It's all about the person. It's all about the meeting people to meet people and to know that we are not alone, and together we are a force, a real force.
So well said. The coronavirus has obviously impacted the world. We're all feeling the effects. So in addition to the health crisis, how has it affected your own community? Marilyn, you want to take that?
Sure. Yes, sadly, we had to cancel our large 25th anniversary programs and celebrations that we had planned both in Israel and in Palm Beach. So we were not able to visit one another and have those events. But there is a positive aspect and a silver lining to the whole thing. The use of technology for the partnership business has brought the people in Palm Beach and TZAHAR together at a level never experienced before Corona. We are constantly in communication. Pre-Corona, the standard model was that the steering committee would meet approximately 4 times a year. We'd Skype with the partnership in Israel. And once Corona came, we started having virtual meetings. We met throughout the summer with both the steering committee in the region and in Palm Beach. There was no need to have to be in town to meet together. And we began something called Partnership Live events, which were open to the Federation community and our partnership region. And we had different events throughout the summer. We had a Lag BaOmer event, we had Yom Yerushalayim, a Shavuot cooking event where Ofer cooked a cheesecake for all of us. We had a reunion of past shlichim, and that was wonderful. We had them speak about the impact that the Palm Beaches had on them and their time here, and they told us about where they are now and what they're doing. And finally, in August, we had a klezmer event, because there is a special connection between our region and Tzfat and klezmer music. So what that did is we were able to celebrate Jewish events as well together with the partnership this summer. And it brought numerous people together, and we hope to keep moving forward and doing that in the future.
Well, that sounds like such a silver lining. Ofer, do you have anything to add to that?
First of all, I agree with all what Marilyn said, the same and here in the TZAHAR region. And I have to say that I'm sure that the next 25 years of our partnership will be better. I think the Corona, against all odds, make our relationship better, because all the communication skills are better than what it was. And for our relationship, this is the best thing that we can have and for the future to go.
It sounds like it's one big happy family. That's what it's turning into.
Yes.
It's very exciting. So here's another question for both of you. What does the future of the partnership look like? Marilyn?
Okay. I believe the future for the partnership is going to be continued numerous virtual meetings often. We will have events that we can both participate in. We will also have, every year we have a new initiative that both the steering committee in Israel and in Palm Beach we collaborate on, and we have a new program that happens every year from the initiative. This year we have 2. The Tzfat English Library is going to be part of our new initiative, and also Ort Kadima Mada, which is an online 3D modeling programming event. And it's multicultural, and it will be for middle and high school students, both in the Palm Beaches and in the region. They will be collaborating, doing Jewish events together on the computer. And in conjunction with the Israel Programming Center, we are going to be beginning a pilot of an adult education programming this year, which is very exciting. So, and finally, what my hope for the future is that we can all be together again often, that the people in the TZAHAR region can come to us, and that we can be in Israel together again. That's my hope for the future of the partnership.
Thank you very much. And Ofer, any final words?
It's not fair because Marilyn talking before me. So again, I agree with Marilyn. I will not say everything again, but I think the future of our partnership is more people to people meeting more delegation that will come to Israel and more delegation that will come to Palm Beach, because I believe that after all and before everything, it's all about the personal touch, the feeling, the hug, and you know, we cannot meet for a long time, but at the moment we are meeting, it's like we are always together. And I remember when you were in Israel and I host you in my home, I feel like you always been there. It's like you are my brothers and sister. And I think this is the future. More meeting, more people to people. This is the real living bridge of our partnership. And I hope that this will be the future after we will beat the corona.
Thank you so much, both of you. Ofer, I can't wait to have another meal in your house. It was so sumptuous. It was a feast. But thank you both for joining us. And next, we're going to speak with some young leaders who are shaking up the status quo. So now, I'm pleased to welcome Jason Rogers, the immediate past chair of the Emerging Leadership Program in Palm Beach. Jason chaired the first ELP mission to Israel and recently won the Robert S. and Seal N. Levy Young Leadership Award for his dedication to the Jewish community. And also we're inviting Dr. Nehara Amar, who participated in the Teen Leadership Institute, where teens from Palm Beach and TZAHAR traveled to St. Petersburg, Russia. Now she is the chair of the Public Relations Subcommittee in the TZAHAR region. But I have some news hot off the press. Nehara is going to be the chair of the steering committee. She is taking over Ofer's position. I don't think anybody knows this, but a mazel tov to you, Nehara.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to both of you. Thank you. Let's go back to your beginning. You've said that the mission trip to Russia with the American and Israeli teens really changed your life. Tell us more about how that influenced you.
Well, the path of a young girl in Tzfat is pretty much known. After 18, you're moving to university in Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, and you never go back to the region. But meeting other people from TZAHAR in the delegation and meeting other people of the Jewish people in Palm Beach and in St. Petersburg made me want to come back to the region, made me want to do other things that are good for the Jewish people, for our community. It definitely influenced the path of my life.
Jason, you've taken on leadership roles in the Palm Beaches and even won a leadership award. But tell us how you first became involved in the Jewish community.
How I became first involved in the Jewish community was really after my ELP experience. I was fortunate enough, like you said, to lead the first ELP mission to the region. And on that trip, I saw my ability to impact others, impact my peers. And when I came back, especially after seeing our counterparts in the TZAHAR region, it fueled me with a lot of my own ability. And when I came back, I was able to take a role not only in sharing ELP, so I could have the same effect on people that the program had on me, but also now I sit on the executive committee of my synagogue in an educational position as a VP of education. And it really just showed me a little bit of what it could look like to be more hands-on and take more of a role.
How have those experiences shaped your participation in the partnership?
That's for me?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, sometimes it's hard to see progress that you make inside your own bubble. And getting to meet people in our partnership region and to see what they were able to build and accomplish, it really made me want to be more active here. It gave me a different perspective on how important it is to have leadership succession and to have new generations take pride and stewardship for their communities. And like I said, I coming back and sharing ELP and subsequently serving with my synagogue, it really was a result of that partnership region and inspiring me and making me want to do more here.
How about you, Nehara?
Well, this week I remember celebrating the 10 years, the first decade together the celebration of the 10th year here in Tzfat. I saw some pictures and I remembered, and I started to think that actually Tommy and Cheryl are like my parents. They know me since I was a young girl. And actually this partnership made me prouder of who I am, of my family and my region, to be a part of something that's very unique. And of course now to be a part of this beautiful and this amazing steering committee and workers of the partnership that are doing a lot of new initiatives, like you heard from Ofer. And every year we're getting to know more and more organizations and more people that wants to be part of the partnership, and it makes us very proud.
Now, why is it so important for your generation to be involved with your local Jewish community?
Wow. Well, my fathers came from Tunisia. They didn't survive the Holocaust, but they came from Tunisia and they had to survive. They did Aliyah at the back, the 48, the 50. And my parents didn't need to survive, but they needed to establish schools. They needed to establish new neighborhoods here in Israel. But my generation, we don't need to do that. We're not survivors anymore. We don't need to build anything. Even the roads to Tzfat, you can see from the airport to Tzfat, it's fast. We just need to look around to increase our social capital, to look around and to make us stronger, like in this special period that we see the strength in our doings.
Thank you. Jason, I'm going to ask you the same question. Why is it so important to be involved?
I think it's important that you bring your own viewpoint and experiences, both as an individual as well as a representative of your peers and people in a similar life stage. I think it really forms a culture of collective responsibility where you're just able to do more as a group. And the people that I personally am following and the ones that I hope to inspire are all making a commitment to our community and doing our share to build something significant for the future.
Thank you. And what about our recovery from the pandemic? How do each of you see the partnership playing a role in that? Nehara?
Well, I think that Ofer talked about it. It was amazing. It was great. And I remember 2 months ago, we interviewed the new ambassadors, and we interviewed from far away, and we were all with masks. But each girl and boy that came into the room, they wanted to do more things for the community, and they wanted to take more parts in the community. It doesn't matter if it's school, if it's the youth movements. I think that this is the power of the partnership, to make our youth stronger, to make my generation stronger and caring. That's the important part.
How about you, Jason?
That's a good point, Nahora. I think my personal experiences were incredibly immersive in person. And I think it's a really interesting question and maybe not one I have a clear answer to. But that being said, I think both mid and post-pandemic, the partnership gives us an ability to connect and interact with our friends in Israel in a new way. And outside of time zone differences, it's really as easy to connect to Israel as it is to Broward County. And I think it gives us something to look forward to. That's kind of where I put my focus, like to future missions, future opportunities, and hopefully soon interaction in person.
So that leads me to my next question. In 25 years, we'll be celebrating the 50th anniversary of Partnership2Gether. So when you're being interviewed for that celebration, what do you think the partnership will look like then, Jason?
Outside of flying cars, I think I'm incredibly proud to say that in the 10 years since the creation of ELP Palm Beach, we now have alumnus from our program on the board of every Jewish agency in the area, as well as multiple graduates from the program sitting on synagogue boards throughout the county. In 25 years, I would expect that number to have grown exponentially. And I know that both in Palm Beach and Israel, the ELP program has been incredibly successful in cultivating future leaders in both of our respective communities. And really looking from a 30,000 foot, I think we've created an educational model for growing leadership on a global scale. So now that both programs have gone virtual, there's an opportunity to have joint educational sessions. And I look forward to seeing how technology will help create that bridge 25 years from now.
Thank you. Nahara, final words?
Well, we would need here in TZAHAR a big stadium that we don't have now, so it's better to start building this stadium. And I would look like, I can imagine that so many people will come, and it will look naturally that grown-ups and young leaderships, young leaders are coming, and it's we're so many generations of the Federation. I'll hope to come with my husband and my kids, say amen, and looking forward.
Thank you. Thank you both for joining us. I appreciate your participation.
Congratulations, Nahara.
Yes, congratulations. Now we're going to look at the future with some amazing teenagers. And so I'm pleased to welcome Aiden Taylor, a Z Israel Fellow from Palm Beach County, and Ori Tebelsi, a young ambassador from Israel. These men, as you heard earlier, met this past December when Aiden traveled to Israel with other Z Israel Fellows from Palm Beach. Aiden?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, nice to see you again. What is Z Israel and why did you participate?
Well, Z Israel is a program for teens, such as myself, to form connections with the state of Israel and then the people in Israel. I joined because I've been looking for a program I can go on so where I can go to Israel. My brother and sister were both part of the Bonim Chaim program, and that was just so amazing for them, and I really wanted to have that experience. So I found out that Carly Jacobson was starting this amazing program, and I thought there'd be no reason not to join, and it's amazing, and I'm so glad that I joined.
Ori, why did you become a young ambassador? Ori?
Hey, sorry, I was muted. Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, why did you become a young ambassador?
I think that because I understand that it is something big and it is something life-changing, something that I didn't do before. I didn't know anyone from the US Jewish communities. And now that I know them, I understand how big is this program and this whole new life that I made for myself with the Jewish communities in the US.
And you know what? I think you learned a lot of leadership skills while in the Young Ambassadors. And I think I witnessed them when I was in Israel last year, and I saw you make a presentation about an invention of yours. It was like the Israeli version of Shark Tank. Tell us briefly about that.
Okay, cool. So right now I'm in the Entrepreneurship Center in my school. This is where we make our product, and this is where we live as a company and do all the things we do. And we started it 2 years ago or something like that. And then we start to make this project happening and talked with a lot of important people, and we're making presentations for everyone who wants to hear. And we think it will only make good for us, and it will make new opportunities for us, as well as how I presented for you and the whole delegation.
It was very impressive. I think you won an award too. You were a finalist with your invention.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
We won the third place in the biggest entrepreneurship competition in Israel, and now it was 2019, and now we are going to have the same competition, and we hope to get the first place, and we're working hard for it.
Wonderful. Well, we wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you.
Aiden, when you went to Israel in December, what was that your first trip?
Yeah, that was my first trip to Israel.
So what was it like when you met Ori and the other Israeli teens? How was it after flying for all those hours?
Oh man, you know, it's exactly like what the woman said a little bit earlier. She said what Marilyn said earlier. You know, right when we walked in, there was just so much energy in the room, and we became friends immediately. It was just such an amazing thing.
That's really something very special. Ori, what are some of the things that you've learned from Aiden and from other teens who were on the trip?
I think it was the first time that I have met the culture of the US people. And before that, I haven't know a thing about them. I was only concentrated in the Israeli culture. And it was really mind-blowing for me. It let me know other cultures and other ways of life. And I just want to say, in continuing for the last question you asked, Aiden, I want to ask Aiden, do you remember the first time that we put a tefillin on you in the Tzfat streets?
Yes, I do. I was just thinking about that. That was just so awesome to me. You know, it was really life-changing.
Yeah, you see, so this is one of the things that Aiden and us have experienced in this amazing trip together, and it is really life-changing for all of us.
It really was. Both of you have experienced new cultures, and so when you came back to the States, Aiden, how was it talking to your family and friends about Israel?
Well, before I went to Israel, my view of Israel was much more political, and just the things that were going on there on the political side of things. But now when I talk to people about Israel, I talk about the time I played ping pong with Ori, or just the fun experiences we had, and the culture I learned from Ori and all the other ambassadors really helped me with my conversations here and talk about the people of Israel rather than the politics.
How about you, Ori? How has meeting Aiden helped you with conversations about America with other Israelis?
So as I said before, I didn't know anyone from the US before this delegation. And since I met the whole delegation, the whole part of this group, I've just learned so much about the US community. And after that, I was always talking with my friends about it, and I was so enthusiastic and excited about it. So I just spread the rumor everywhere and with everyone I could.
That's really wonderful. You're both teenagers now, but do you see yourselves being involved in your communities in the future, either in college or afterwards?
100%.
Aiden?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, really going to this trip has really solidified my Jewish identity. And I feel that I know I'm the up and coming generation, that I have to continue the Jewish community here in Palm Beach County and the connection to Israel that I have. And I definitely want to continue that in college and be a part of, and I want to support Israel in college and go to APAC and go to Israel more. And I want to be a part of this community.
That's really wonderful. How about you, Ori?
I'm surely can say that I will want to do other things with the Jewish communities and to support and to do lots of good things, because this experience was eye-opening for me, and it just let me know that I can do so much for my community and that I have to do it. It is one of my duties as a Jewish person.
Well, well said, both of you. Well, after hearing from these young people, I think we can all agree our future certainly looks bright. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to all of you for this amazing opportunity, and to Dor, my program manager, and to every one of you for letting us do this great experience and to involve together.
100%. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Well, we hope you'll join us for more programs like this in the future. So please go to jewishpalmbeach.org/upcoming to see the amazing things we have in store for you over the next few months. You can catch our weekly Mosaic program, including this one, on Sunday mornings, starting in January on WPTV News Channel 5 or at jewishpalmbeach.org/mosaic. On behalf of the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County and the TZAHAR Partnership region in Israel, I want to thank you for joining our two-continent celebration of our remarkable 25-year partnership. That concludes our today's program. Shana Tova, happy, healthy New Year, and shalom, everyone.